here is, how does my hair look? And we're live.
Looks terrible.
My hair looks terrible? Okay, let me see how I kick someone out of this.
Just click on my picture and click eject.
Hank, I'm going to share something here from the get-go about your hair.
Now,
you obviously were.
Live.
I realize that. That's why I wanted to have the floor here. You were stand-in for De Niro on Taxi Driver, and I think the haircut stuck.
Okay.
Come on, that's not funny. I thought that was pretty good.
I laughed when I read it the first time. I didn't want to laugh.
That's the only reason I brought it out, because I did get a laugh earlier.
So for anyone who's joining us right now, this is the first ever Strange Nation live hangout on Google. I am the Master of Ceremonies, Hank Strange. Okay, and the subject today is going to be the 2014 Bullpup Convention in Kentucky. So we're going to talk about bullpups. Who did that?
It was a little late. I got you. I was a little late, but there it is.
Somebody's using Tack Daddy's using effects. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. We're going to talk about bullpups today. If you don't know anything about bullpups, we've got the guys to ask about bullpups. The first guy in here is going to be my buddy Chad from Kel-Tec.
Hello, everyone. Oh, come on. That's it?
Yeah, that's all you get, Chad. Okay.
I was waiting for front row at Motley Crue or something. Oh, well.
Right.
I don't have a lighter.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think Kel-Tec is probably the company out there that's making the most bullpups, right? That has the most bullpups in their lineup.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you guys have as bullpups? What are we talking about?
I like I asked that question, and you have like 2 of all of them.
Yeah. You have stuff like this, the KSG, right?
We got the KSG, the RFB.
Yeah, you got your RFB.
Yeah. The soon to be released.
The RDB.
RDB and M43. Yeah.
Yeah, which I don't have here. I don't know why.
You know, funny thing is, I don't have one here either.
Yeah, you should have one of those. Okay, so now we're going to move on from Chad because he doesn't have an RDB here. Right next to Chad is my friend Joseph Garcia from USC SOG.
Hey guys.
What's up,
What's
man?
up, man? You want to tell people about USC SOG for those who don't know, including some of the people on the panel?
Not really. Just don't go to prison, and you won't know who I am.
That's too late for that.
So basically, we're the guys who handle what they call the Tier 1 operations. Anytime there's a hostage taken inside of a prison or a major riot, usually we either train the teams or we deploy real time. And you know, the bullpups are pretty intimately with us because we use them intimately in that, you know, we carry a pound worth of lead going into a situation. We're outnumbered, in some cases, 50, 100 to 1. So you better make sure you have the right ammo with you, and you better make sure you have a lot of it when you start going in. But I'll tell you what, man, it's awesome to be here. Thanks for having us.
Oh, thanks for joining, man. You guys do some really cool stuff. I watch your videos all the time. You guys use the KSG and the RFB, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been running the KSGs since I don't know, almost 3 years now, and we put it through its first through its testing, and we use it now day in day out all over the United States. It's crazy. We just actually had a deployment yesterday, our team here, but it is one of the most. We are the most used team in the world that uses the KSG, the most experienced team, I should say, not used, the most experienced team. So I can tell you everything about that KSG, how we accessorize it, you know, how we break it down, use it. Our guys can load a pound of ammo in under 11 seconds. And we hope to kind of show this at the Bullpup conference coming up. Never before done. So this is kind of again, you know, we're not sport shooters. We shoot for real.
Right. So you guys are going to be doing some demonstrations and some classes at the Bullpup convention, right?
Yeah, we're bringing in a guy named Neil Keekstra, former world shotgun shooter champion, and we're going to run a little clinic, some demonstrations, and just to kind of show the folks out there what we're doing. And whether you're in a law enforcement community or you're a private citizen, we support the Second Amendment rights. Just some neat things that you guys can do, or the people who show up. We think this is a great forum, great people putting it on.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing you guys there at the convention because you guys really, really run those bullpups. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and
being here.
That kind of just real quick. I'm not at some strip club, dude. Okay, so this is actually our command post we're in right now. So when they find out I'm using bandwidth to get on with you, they'll understand. They'll say it's okay. But this rig will actually be down there at the Bullpup convention. So they're driving this multi-million-dollar classified rig down there, and just we don't do that for everybody, but we're doing it on behalf of our team with Kel-Tec and support of the Bullpup convention here.
Yeah, absolutely. I encourage everyone to check out USCSOG on YouTube. You guys run some really cool videos. Right next to you is Sergeant P from the Bullpup Forum.
Yeah.
All right, man.
The host of the
applause.
Hold on. There you go, right there.
Damn it, Kevin.
Well, let me. I like going after a senior because, man, if you haven't seen his videos, the adrenaline will flow. There is no doubt about it. They're excellent. So we're really looking forward to everything there. But Senior Chief, it's going to be a fun time.
Oh man, we're going to go there and have a great time. And here's the big thing. I just want to tell guys, look, dudes, honestly, we shoot because we have to, and we do it day in, day out. We're not sports shooters. I wish I had the chance to do stuff like that, but I want to be able to show the guys what we're doing in real time, real world operations. So I'm real looking forward to coming out there. Thank you guys for putting it on. It's a great convention.
Oh.
Well, we're looking forward to a great event. I'll go through the dates real quick, and then we'll get into details as we get out of the introductions. But the 27th and 28th, the end of the month.
Get your pen out. Write it down.
That's
and
it.
Be there.
Right. So it's the 27th and the 28th. Where?
Rock Castle Shooting Center in Kentucky. You mentioned it's Park City, Kentucky. It's damn near the border between Tennessee and Kentucky, right above Bowling Green.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta tell you guys, I just shot the Rock Castle Pro-Am there 2-3 weeks ago already, and I hadn't been there before. It's an amazing facility. If you haven't been, just to come out and see it and experience the range itself and all the people out there, it's totally worth it. And then of course, we got the Bullpup convention going on, which is going to be, I think it's going to be just off the chain, as the kids are saying these days.
Kids are not saying that anymore, Chad.
That's so early 2000s, dude.
Is it off the hook? I always think of fishing when they say that. No? What is it now?
I have no idea, man. I'm 42.
You don't look a day over
42.
60.
Oh, God.
Right. Okay, so let's continue on here with the introductions. Right next to Sergeant P is my buddy, Kevin the Tack Daddy.
I'm here representing all the people that typed in Pitbull in the chat search and ended up in the wrong place because I'm the one with the least. Now I'm actually here representing all the people with the least amount of bullpup experience. Played around with the Tavor before, but other than that, very little experience on the range or out in the training facilities with bullpups. But very, very interested in learning more, and obviously. I'm here because Sergeant P's coming on Thursday night, along with, I guess, a bunch of the people on the panel here. You're all welcome. That's kind of how I got involved with this chat. Was it's Bullpup Week, so
nice.
I'm here to learn, to be honest with you. So I'm here, kind of chiming in with all the other people that don't know much.
Are you coming out to the convention?
I'm not planning on it only because I have a bunch of other stuff on the calendar, but we'll talk.
Well, yeah. let me jump in there because you know what, we encourage folks that two things. One, either don't know about the bullpup. Obviously, there's a lot that can be learned. But also, there's a group out there that hate bullpups, and I'm curious to see those guys. I have a feeling a lot of them have never shot one, never held one, never experienced one, and you know, that's a whole new world. So not only the ones that don't know about it, it's the ones that know about it and think they don't like it. I think that's a good conversation to have as well.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Well, I could take it a step further than that. And there's a lot of guys out there that hate them, that have shot them. They just haven't shot any Kel-Tecs. I'm just saying.
You know, this is what I tell everybody, and I've spoken on the bullpups for the last. I mean, I like to think I can speak with authority, and I don't mean to sound cocky, just confident, and that's real simple. I have almost 550 guys that answer to me. These are the guys who are using the KSGs on a regular basis, and the bottom line is this. If you guys remember the Smith & Wessons, the revolvers, okay, remember when the semi-autos started coming in, you know, the Glocks, and everyone was saying, like, hey, you know, that's super topware, those will never do it. You know, it could jam up, and those were a lot of excuses. Well, when you go with the bullpup system, remember this. People think it's a shorter weapon. Well, in fact, effectively, it is a shorter weapon. However, you've got a full-length barrel, you've got compact size, and the mindset, and that's something we're going to talk about at this convention, is the mindset that we're telling everybody is that it's real simple, guys. It's not about it's a better weapon. For us, it's a much more effective weapon. It makes me an effective operator. And then the other thing that we run is this. It's just a little bit of a mindset change of everybody had to recalibrate. Remember, guys, with the when I don't know about anybody else, I got started in law enforcement back in the early 90s. And so when I did that, we still had the wheel gun 357s, and then we went to the Glocks, and everybody was hemming and hawing about it. It's a whole new practice, a whole new malfunction drills or what have you. Why change something? Well, what the Kel-Tec, KSG has done for us, or what it's doing to the shotgun industry, it's basically doing what the semi-auto handguns, the Smith & Wessons, the Glocks, the SIGs did to the revolvers. That's my personal opinion, and that's how I feel about what the shotguns, the Kel-Tec shotguns have done for the basic shotguns. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
It does. Let me add one thing too, Senior, and you tell me if this is true or not. But I feel the balance throughout the platform of bullpups is superior. But in the KSG in particular, in the shotguns, when you change that balance point, it becomes a much lighter shooter.
Man, I can tell you this: take a shot, the KSG shotgun, give it to any gal. It's 104 pounds. My wife's 108 pounds. She can take that shotgun and hold it straight out, balance it, pull the trigger, and then if she needs, just rack it real quick, pull it out again. Versus your traditional shotgun that you have. And if you look at a traditional shotgun, everybody look at it. Okay, so pull out that Mossberg or the Remington. They're great workhorses. We're not saying anything against it. What we are saying is this: we use it for these couple of points, and I'll talk about it. I'm gonna save a lot of this, and don't start going crazy there, Sergeant P. Is that a couple of points here? Is this: economy of time, economy of space, economy of motion. In home defense, let me tell you something. You don't want a big ass gun. Can I say ass on the line? Is that possible?
You already did twice.
I won't say ass again. I'm sorry. Okay, but you gotta have the big assets coming around that door, and in confined space. Imagine, let's just say somebody wants to hide in a closet. Well, try bringing out that big barrel coming out and trying to deploy it. I think my wife says I can handle this shotgun a lot more confident than I can your Mossberg or your Remington, and I own them all. You know what I mean? A good majority of them. But here's the biggest thing: any Second Amendment loving individual wants to buy a shotgun. You want a full length shotgun, or if you want a compact shotgun, start filling out your ATF paperwork, because by the time you finally do get one, it's going to take you forever. But the KSG gives you an 18.5-inch barrel, dude. 26.1 inches overall length, and a pound worth of ammo. But for us, our guys, the flexibility on the fly of being able to go to less lethal rounds, to a higher less lethal round, or a breaching round to a direct action. No other shotgun in the world can give you that kind of flexibility at the flip of a selector lever.
Hear that?
That's me. That's my 2 cents, man.
Listen, I agree with what you're saying there. The question I would ask to come from the flip side from people who don't know about bullpups or who are against it is, how come they're not more popular in America? I mean, I think the design of bullpups have been around since what, the 50s or something?
Well, I'm not as old as you are, Hank, but I can tell you this, and I'm kidding, man.
He didn't say he was younger. He just said he wasn't as old as him.
I just wasn't old as you. So here's the bottom line. Yes, it's not as popular because when something is new and people don't really understand the mechanism, and it's outside of their platform, I guess people are a little more shy or quote gun shy to move into that next platform. But let me tell you this: why is the Kel-Tec KSG the #1 most adopted shotgun in the correction special operations community? It is the fastest adopted shotgun, bar none. Law enforcement have caught on to it, and so we are ahead of the curve. And I guarantee you, give it another 18 minutes, watch what happens. The public are already saying, "Hey, we can't get them fast enough." But we were the guys that looked at it from the corrections perspective, and trust me, man, when we go into different housing units or facilities, we don't play around. And so I am not going to put junk or something that's going to break down or something that just doesn't make sense. It's either an effective tool or it's not. And not just by a little bit. And please understand this. We don't change weapon platforms because, it has a better safety, or, hey, they changed the optic on it. We change it because it actually makes us a much more effective and efficient operator. If it doesn't meet the criteria for that, we're not going to change the platform regardless. So to kind of go around and answer your question, it really does come down to, Hank, of really the person educating themselves, trying it, going to guys who are doing it. And that's what this Bullpup forum, if there's anybody that ever wanted to know about a Bullpup or the KSGs and how to operate, this is the forum to go to. And that's why we're supporting it. And I said, sure, let's take the rig, let's bring the trucks, the assets, let's bring Max over here who's sleeping right now, and let's get to this Bullpup forum and educate as many people who want to exercise their Second Amendment or the police law enforcement community. Let's help them out, because that's what I love about this forum. It's a real good education piece.
Awesome. Let me jump in real quick, guys. Also, obviously I represent Kel-Tec and our products, and we're going to be there pushing it hard. But I am also very interested to shoot other companies' bullpup firearms. I mean, I just think it's really interesting. There's a lot of cool ones out there. We know we're not the only game in town, but we are always trying to take it to the next level. And we use guys like Senior to put our stuff on the map, so to speak. He was one of the first ones to come in and shoot the KSG. Actually, I think he was the very first person outside the company to shoot the KSG and test it out. And so it's not, like I said, we're not the only game in town. It's going to be really fun to go out there and shoot stuff, but we're just, Kel-Tec's just trying to take it to a different level and try to make bullpups more effective, not only for law enforcement, obviously, but for civilian use and even just recreation, having a good time. So it's a much smaller platform, like we mentioned. Smaller people don't have as much of an issue holding the gun up. There's not a whole, the kind of fatigue that you get from like maybe holding a black rifle, especially in a .308 caliber, with your arm extended all day long. So it's a little more fun and it's a little more friendly to women and just smaller people. So
like, are we saying that this is a smaller people weapon?
It is. No. But you know what? Hey, if it's less fatiguing for them, it's going to be less fatiguing for even like huge guys like me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So now, before we get into the free for all here, let's not forget to intro my very good friend Sean from We Like Shooting. Who always forgets to intro people on his show if you watch his show. So
only the cast of our show. I never forget to introduce people I like.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Sean. I know you've been doing press junkets all day.
Apparently, yeah, that's how I feel all week. It seems like it's been going on a lot. But yeah, no, thanks for having me. I don't have a ton of experience with the bullpups, but I really like the concept of them. Shot a few Kel-Tecs, shot the Tavor, that was a lot of fun. And you know, like everyone's been saying, I really like. I'm really interested in the positives that they have. I like having that longer barrel. Thank you. I like having that longer barrel and just having it in a more compact system. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in them.
Right. And I think I'm the first person to intro you to a bullpup, right?
Yeah, actually, I was with Hank. His hand was on my rear end when I shot my first bullpup.
Okay. It wasn't really your rear end. It was just that small in the back. You know, I don't know what that's called.
That's my upper butt.
The rear love handle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Listen. Before people think we're all weird, which is probably too late.
We are.
Does anyone have something that, you know, are there any questions out there that anyone on the panel wants to pose before we start looking at questions that folks on YouTube are coming up with? Okay, Tack Daddy has his hands up.
What in the hell does the word bullpup mean, and where did it come from?
Wow, great question. That's actually a tough one. I don't know that it can be answered.
Okay.
It's been around since not the word bullpup, but the concept's been around since 1903, as best we can tell, and different incarnations. But the 40s and 50s is when it really came on. The English were playing with it as a replacement for the infields, and they did some good development. But the caliber, they stuck to a non-traditional caliber they thought was superior. And at that point, the NATO stuff was starting to come out, and so it got nixed, not so much because it was a bullpup, but because of the caliber selection. And then it wandered about a bit and made some splashes. I think the late 60s, early 70s with the high standard shotgun, the semi-automatic. And their flaw was the semi-automatic didn't run real well. They were having gas problems and kind of forced the bullpup out, and it ended up killing it. Mossberg did a big old chunky one in the 80s, again a shotgun, and it was a pump, and it did okay, but it was extremely chunky, and they were after the police market, you know, a good trunk gun, and so it kept kind of fumbling along. As far as the carbines, you know, the French carry one, or drop as it were, the English carry one. The Israelis, of course, are carrying one. There's several out there. The Austrians, I guess, with the granddaddy, the Steyr AUG, and it is AUG, by the way. A lot of people say AUG, which is fine, but AUG is proper. And so they've been around. One of the big hits on them is the trigger. And because you're elongating that trigger system by moving the action back, you can't. It's a little more complicated to get a really good trigger. But we're seeing great improvements in that. We're seeing great improvements in the aesthetics. The ergonomics are kind of inherent with the balance that I mentioned before. But so I think with the trigger development coming along, Kel-Tec, both the KSG and the RFB, I'm assuming the RDB, all have excellent triggers. And Desert Tech with their long range stuff, man, their triggers are as good as you can ever imagine. So we're seeing that. The Tavor, for instance, comes out of the box with a pretty crappy trigger, but there's some kits coming out now.
So what you're saying is that it's a crappy trigger.
It is. It's pretty heavy. And not to steal the show here, but there's a reason that the Israelis put a heavy trigger in it, and I'll get to that. But there's some really good trigger kits coming out. It's a trigger pack. You just replace it in the Tavor. So that improvement can be made. So with all that, I think you see the bullpup going to permeate law enforcement. It's already gotten into major militaries around the world. It's seeing action. It's reliable. And so those platforms are going to just continue to grow. We're in the growth, the infancy stage of the bullpup, even though it's been around a while. This is the growth stage at this point. So I think it's pretty exciting, especially for companies like Kel-Tec and IWI and the like that are coming on with such strong products.
We're really excited to be pushing.
All right, I can see that I'm going to have a heck of a time getting words in here tonight, so I'm going to say right now that Thursday night these guys are going to be on again. I'm going to have great questions for them then, but I'm going to reserve all. I'm done asking questions.
Okay, so real quick, Sergeant Pete. real quick, I thought that when he asked you where did the bullpup come from, I thought you were gonna break out your hat and start telling me the Greek origin of bullpupius, mapios.
It's a Latin name.
Yeah, it's a derivative from. Okay, great. Well, I got educated.
No, it honestly, no one knows where it came from. There was a missile system in the 60s, I think, that was also a U.S. missile system called Bullpup, but the word just kind of came out of nowhere, and
So
it's
it's a nickname for compact, full-size barrel guns.
Sure.
Thank you,
You just coined it. That's it. Tac Daddy did it.
There you go.
Tac Daddy Webster.
So,
Right, now let me just interject something because we've got a question on YouTube from 50TNCSA, and it relates to what you were saying, Sergeant P. I'm just going to show my Tavor right here, which has the standard trigger in it. And he wants to know, his comment is, he says, well, bullpups aren't really all that customizable as an AR-15. So what do you guys have to say to that? I know there are trigger packs like Isley has it, is it Timney? I think Shoot Sight, a bunch of guys have trigger packs, and mine's customized. So what do you guys have to say?
I would I would disagree only because, we have done. If anybody who sees our KSGs, we have a lot of ours. Actually, all of ours are customized. So,
Hey, Senior, can you grab one?
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I have one in stock here.
well, let me ask this. So you can upgrade the trigger on most, right?
Yeah.
You can upgrade the forend, right,
John.
with a couple different options.
Well, let me stop you there, Sean, because the KSG doesn't need a trigger upgrade. It's good to go.
Okay.
The Tavor can use a trigger upgrade, and not to steal the show, but the Tavor trigger pack. The reason it's so heavy, the European mentality on triggers is they're almost a safety when they're that heavy. The FAL, a bunch of rifles are real heavy triggers, and they see that, especially in an urban environment. They aren't, don't have hair triggers, for lack of a better term. So that's kind of the mentality that the Israelis have subscribed to, is that European heavy trigger mentality as being a secondary safety.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So if you're looking at like our KSG, this is one of ours. Everything from we've had some work done to the inside using the Vortex razors. We have our Laser Max lasers, our front end comp that we run. We run cheek plates, extra padding on the back. There's a number of things, and then we have a stippling flashlight. Ambidextrous left or right flashlight. We've got stippling being done. So I've got my optics, my lights, my lasers, my standoff.
I think you should point out right here to the average person, that is a shotgun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think that. Let's remember that there's a bunch of regular viewers probably watching as well. That does not look like a shotgun.
It's an 18-inch barrel too.
I'm sorry, it's 18.5-inch barrel.
There you go. Yep. So the question was about customizing, and I think compared to an AR, you might say, well, how many rails? So it depends on the bullpup you're talking about, and are there rails? Are there places to attach? And the answer is yes. The bullpup is more compact, so I think it's a fair assessment when you're talking about maybe a shortened barrel black rifle or something like that.
Yeah, let's not forget the time. I mean, how long have ARs been kind of in the public eye and super, super popular? And so that explains why there's so many products that are available for them. Almost on a daily basis, I hear about new products coming out for some of the bullpup rifles. Sorry to interrupt, Chad.
No, it's fine.
Good point.
Well,
Good point.
This is something that you're going to be seeing fired at the convention. We have what they call confined space counter sniper operations for internally. Part of our requirements is that we have to be able to set up a counter snipe operation from inside of a vehicle. Because if we get hit on a motorcade or what have you, dude, we can't afford to set up a big sniper rifle with a 26-inch barrel weapon sticking out for a total of maybe 38 inches long. So, the guys are going to see stuff like this. Again, we're running the Vortex HDs. We've got this thing customized on the front end. So some of our toys we're going to be bringing out, Sergeant P, to the conference, and we're going to let some of the guys just play with it.
Can you hold that up
What's
so
the
we
effective
that
range?
again?
What's the
badass.
Yeah, that is
Thank you.
badass. And what is the effective range of that weapon?
This effective range is about 25 miles. I'm kidding, man. That was for the uneducated.
That's it.
So this is a nail tag driver for us at 800 yards. Bam. Point of aim.
Hold it up a little higher. Hold it up a little higher so we can see it here. There you go.
Hey, Tac
Yeah, go ahead.
Daddy.
Yeah, man.
Tac Daddy. That's got an 18-inch barrel in it, and it's chambered in 308. So
308,
it's a pretty heavy barrel as well.
Yes.
It's my RFBs are sub MOA at 100, so it stands up there. Yeah, it's a pretty sweet gun.
Very
and
nice.
again, it's in that tiny little package. It's great.
So incredible. I mean, we can go CQB or we can go out and send it out there if we need to. But the biggest thing is we have to deploy from confined space. So Suburbans, in the event that we're inside of a prison, that we may not get that whole 200-yard advantage. So I got to pierce that window, or depending on what we're doing, and a lot of it's classified. But you know, we came up with a concept called confined space counter sniping operations. And it is really changing how we look at sniping internally or from a confined space like your vehicles.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So now, to take the flip side, in case anyone's wondering, why would you guys choose to go with bullpups over, let's say, SBRs?
Okay. So why do you choose a Ford or a Chevy? It comes down to it has to be our specific requirements, our criteria that we set up. Again, you know, we are correction special operations. We're not the military, police. Those guys all have unique operations. So we know what our defined parameters are for us. And so what we deal with is a lot of it, you know, for us is effectiveness, the weapon system itself, the design, how it can be deployed, the user friendliness of it. So there's a lot of criteria that we've already set, and for us, you know, the RFB, the KSG have just been bar none, hands down, really have taken us to that next level as operators.
Well, Hank, one of the major things to keep in mind especially with the RFBs, since we're talking about it, when you're in confined spaces like a lot of these guys are, hot brass is an issue. You may be in a vehicle with your team. You got hot brass flying around. Plus, if you're using an SBR, you're going to lose a lot of velocity if you do need to turn that rifle and go long range. So you're getting a full-length barrel and a full-length package in a short gun. So you're not giving up any ballistics or anything like that.
And that is absolutely critical. You know, like a lot of guys will dress their weapons out with the kitchen sink, but we tell our guys, look, we just dress for the mission. What is the mission for us? And so the great thing about what we've seen with both the KSGs and the RFBs, the Kel-Tec system, is it's ambidextrous, it's compact, and yet I don't lose that desired features that I need in a full-length barrel weapons. And so, like, a lot of this information we're gonna share during our clinics, and it's really gonna open the eyes of a lot of people, because our environment can go from very compact or confined space to long distances very quickly. So,
hey, let me also add the low ready can change with a bullpup versus even a short barreled rifle or shotgun. Because of the balance, you can keep this thing on plane the entire time it's in use. And Chad, you kind of mentioned that a bit ago, but that's a big deal when you're talking about an urban environment. I'm sure on a tactical basis for seniors.
Sure.
As well.
Yeah, and just cornering with a gun that's that compact. You know, I mean, there's just, you know, it has tons of advantages. And I love my ARs. I love my black rifles. But you know, in a bullpup scenario, if I were in situations like you know, Senior were in, and we've had a couple of Navy SEALs stop by the booth at SHOT Show and look at the RFB, guys that do a lot of Overwatch out of choppers and stuff. You know, there's always a tool for the job, and a bullpup. You know, I mean, these guys are telling you, you know, Senior's telling you for what they do, and like you said, close quarter scenarios, you know, out to long range. The same thing with the Israelis and the Tavor. You know, they've got that specific tool for a reason. They could shoot any gun. I mean, they could build themselves any firearm, but they choose that bullpup platform for a reason.
You know, for the majority of families that are out there and who live in houses or wherever, inside of a domestic dwelling, having a compact weapon with its full effectiveness, the full features, I don't honestly know how you could bring out your standard weapons or give it to, somebody that doesn't use it on a regular basis. But if this is a home defense weapon, oh my God, man! I mean, why do SWAT teams carry SBRs? So if they carry SBRs in CQB operations, doesn't that kind of make sense for us to carry, or at least to have in our tool set a compact type of weapon? So that's the bullpup for us.
Yeah. One of the things I think with Bullpup is that, if you get an SBR, you have to go through all the ATF paperwork. With a Bullpup, you don't have to do that. So.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, obviously there's a SIG arm brace that has changed things just a little bit, but it is a good point. So I do have a question. I mean, I don't have a Bullpup. So if I could just get maybe some opinions from you guys on what would be a good first bullpup, keeping in mind that budget is an issue. So where should I start?
There's an old classic out there called the muzzle light. No one laughed?
I'm laughing because no one laughed.
The muzzle light was a stock that you put the 1022 in, and it was horrific,
Gotcha.
Really bad. Probably set the bullpup back, so I apologize. That was
I'm gonna scribble that
intended
out.
as a joke.
I'm gonna scribble that out.
Yeah. I think. Let me tell you what 4 platforms there are out there, and then you narrow it down. So from the carbine class, you've got things like the AUG, the Tavor. Obviously, the RFB is kind of a heavy hitter with the 308. You move over to the shotgun class and the 12 gauges that are available now. Obviously, the KSG, we've been highlighting that. We've got some kits for the 870. The kit for the conversion kit for the Mossberg 500 from Bullpup Unlimited will be out at the Bullpup convention, and it'll be for sale for the first time. There's also a thing called the UTAS. It's a Turkish kind of a knockoff of the KSG. So there's shotgun 12 gauges that are out there as well. And then you get into long range. We've got bolt action bullpups that it shortens a 338 Lapua by 10-12 inches, and so you can reach out and touch somebody with the same length barrel, but just a much shorter package. And then you go into the rimfire, into the plinking stuff, and the ZK22 from the dreaded Red Jacket Firearms, whom I'm assuming will change their name soon, is an excellent product. There's also a kind of one that looks like a PS90. So a bunch of ones to choose from. It kind of depends on the platform you want to go. But those are the 4 main ones: carbine, shotgun, long range, and rimfire.
Gotcha.
Very
so
well said.
Yeah, I guess I'd probably be talking about maybe some 5.56 so I can keep calibers simple. Carbine class probably would be my choice. Semi-auto, something like that.
I'd go with the Kel-Tec RDB. I heard that thing is awesome.
I've actually also heard. I think I held that one, right, Hank?
Yes, you have, along with a lot of other things. But here's the.
Weak.
To go back to the question I think Sean was asking, if you want to, I think Sean's trying to find out what's a good affordable entry level, and I think if you want a shotgun, I would say go with the KSG, because you can get these KSGs right now for like $800.
Nice.
Okay. And I've put 24 rounds at one time through this one.
25.
25. Okay, 25. If that's what Chad says. So the thing is, it was really 24, Chad. I hate to argue with you, but you get that $800. That's a good deal. But if you want to go with something like a 5.56 or a 308, it's gonna get a little pricey. Hopefully, when Kel-Tec comes out with the new RDB, what are you guys gonna have on the price point of that, Chad? Do you know?
I have no idea. I'm not even sure when we're gonna go forward with that. So it's gonna be quite a while. But the price point on the RDB, the 5.56 version, we're definitely keeping it under the Tavor, and I've heard somewhere around the $1,500 MSRP. So
very nice.
Not too bad.
Yeah, I think Tavors are going right now for around $1,700. Am I right, Sergeant P?
Yeah, I think that's the competitive rate. It's a $19.99 MSRP.
Yeah. Otherwise, Sean, if you really want to go cheap, there's some 22 kits that you can get. So you can buy, I think it's a Savage rifle, and you can put on a 22, which I think someone on We Like Shooting did one of those, right?
Yeah. We've done all kinds of the conversion kits, and I'm not necessarily sure I really want to go that direction because the transfer bar trigger system, in pretty much all of those, is not. Well, it's garbage on most of the ones that we've shot.
Yeah, it can be. You can improve them a bit here and there, but a kit is just that. You have to love it. You have to get into it.
Absolutely.
Because it's like a 1911. You buy one off the shelf. You still got work to do.
Yeah, and you got to spend money.
And here's the thing that I tell a lot of agencies that talk about these kits. I said, great, but if you have a problem with a certain aspect of it, who are you going to go to fix it or what have you? So you really gotta, if you're going to jump into it, jump into it. One of the funniest videos I saw, I think you mentioned is it the U-Trash? What kind of?
U-Trash.
I'm kidding.
I saw that video.
Relax, guys. Don't have thin skin around me, okay? With the U-Trash.
You're going to have some Turkish people outside of that truck.
I'm sorry. There's now an edict against me, but that's okay because we've got a lot of defense around us. but the thing is, that was the funniest video that I saw of those guys from Nut and Fancy when they did that test thing, and a guy broke it after. Had to be the funniest video. But,
3 of them.
Yeah, the U-Trash. I mean, U-TAS. I'm sorry.
I take exception to that. I played with that gun in Call of Duty this afternoon. Did very well.
Oh
God.
Sean, by the way, another great place to figure out which bullpup you like. In modern video games.
All the experts go.
Right. Well, let's segue to some more kits while we're on that can be tough but can also end up being gems. Like you can take an SKS, which is a $300 rifle, and there's a few kits out there. You can be into a bullpup for fairly cheap. The trick is you got to do any of the kits. You need to fit them and make sure they're good, especially some of the ones that aren't what would you say, a mainstream product. So it's there's good and bad kits out there. I think for the way I look at an entry level rifle, shotgun, what have you, is what's your use, and that's kind of what Senior was getting at. Is if you're protecting your home, your domicile, then you need to look at a shotgun or a carbine, and at that point you don't want the cheapest one off the shelf. And most of the carbines for bullpups, at least the most popular ones, you're talking $1,200 to $2,000 is the average, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. So let me just go back to the YouTube thing real quick. Chad's getting some shout outs on YouTube from Jay Silva. He wants you to show up your Kel-Tec mug, and also we've got some shout outs to
That's
the
my boy.
dog. What's the name of the Seesaw dog again?
Yeah, his name is Max, and check out our videos.
Yeah,
he's
very
amazing.
cool dog. Right. So I think we've got Yo Singer that's watching us on YouTube. He wants to know, does Kel-Tec have the ability to make an auto RFB, RDB, or sub 2000, which is, what do you guys say to that?
Yeah, we have an auto sear for the RDB. We've been testing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So when is that coming out?
Well, the RDB itself will be out just before Christmas. We'll send our first order, and then we'll be cranking them out as soon as we get back from our Christmas break. So going through SHOT Show, we'll be cranking up production on those. As far as a full auto version of the gun, that's up to George. I'm not sure. We do have a working full auto gun here that we use to test the barrels and stuff, which is it's pretty neat. It's actually got a I think it was right at 500 rounds per minute, so it's got a very slow cyclic rate, but it was pretty cool. I mean, it was neat how you could keep it on target.
Yeah, I bet that sounds cool too, going slow.
It does.
Yeah.
It sounds really cool.
So who's actually going to be able to get something like that, get the auto stuff?
It'd be the same, and it'd have to be a Class 3 deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you know, if you have a good, excuse me, good trigger control and fast target acquisition, and you've got the fundamentals down, you don't need full auto. But it is fun. It's a lot of fun, and if you want to, you got the ammo to burn, you know, then get one.
Agreed. That's the thing about full auto. You better have a lot of ammo.
Yeah. So if I get one, I'm coming to your place, Hank.
Yeah. Okay.
I know
Just
you got
make
lots
sure
of
you bring the ammo with you.
No, I'll bring the gun. You have the ammo.
No. All right. So, any other questions on the panel? Anyone got a question? Evan, Tac Daddy, what you want to know about
Well, you guys
Bullpup?
were talking conversions. I actually enjoyed at Media Day SHOT Show last year shooting the 9mm Tavor with a some sort of a, I think it was a Trichicon optic or maybe a
Meprolite, probably.
It was really fun. I mean, it was just so. Actually, no. You know what it was? There was no optic. It was just the pop-up sights, and we were just nailing steel like it was nothing. I mean, it was a lot of fun.
Nice. I think Hank has one of those, don't you?
Yep, my my Tavor right now, as you see it here, is set for 9mm, and I'm actually having more fun shooting this at 9mm than you know, 5.56 is fun, but the 9 is a lot of fun.
And what does that
now,
use? Like stick mags, like Uzi stick mags or something?
Colt,
it uses a kind of Colt mag, but IWI is making a specific mag if you want to get lockback. And I know I've used that mag from IWI in other guns that can use the Colt mag, and you don't get lockback, so they've changed it a little bit, but you can't put a Colt mag into this and run it, you just won't get lockback.
Very cool.
So, and then I think Kel-Tec is going to make some kits also, right, Chad?
We are.
Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, I know that Desert Tech is going to be coming out with some bullpups also, and I believe they're also going to do kits. You know, one of the good things about, go ahead.
Yeah, the Desert Tech's a ways off, but they're going to have a 308 base carbine. It'll be their first venture into semi-automatic, and then it'll have conversion kits to go down to a 5.56, and they've talked about some other calibers as well. But I think Kel-Tec's probably the next on the floor for the next new release.
Right.
What's the deal with Desert Tech's stuff that they had at SHOT Show last year that just hasn't been released?
Yeah, they're looking at late 2015. They're saying maybe possibly midsummer, but probably later than that.
What's taking so long?
Well, can I field this question?
Wait, hold on. Let me think about that for a minute. Go ahead, Chad. What do you have to say?
No, go ahead, Sergeant P. I'm just kidding.
Well, it's their first venture into semi-automatic, so I'm sure it's a fun game going from bolt action to the semi-auto. They have a very short forward ejection system that I'm sure causes some unique problems as well.
Well, from my point of view on this whole thing,
wait, hang on. So Desert Tech is going to do a 308 forward ejecting bullpup? Weird.
Yeah, who'd they get that idea from?
Huh. Anyway, go ahead, Hank.
Well, what I was going to say, first of all, a lot of people out there are waiting on Desert Tech to come out with those guns. You know, Desert Tech makes some cool guns, which you have shot, Chad.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're not allowed to say that because people over at Kel-Tec, they'll disown you, right?
That was the 50 we shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the HTI. You know, I think one of the things going on with Desert Tech, and this is just, this is just from my side of it. I think at SHOT Show, what you saw was rapid prototype, whereas Kel-Tec at SHOT Show had a gun that was working, except obviously it's not show, so you have to take out the firing pin. So they weren't as far along as Kel-Tec is on that. So Kel-Tec's going to get to rock everybody next year.
Here's the thing, in their defense, when we show stuff at SHOT Show, we always show it as a prototype. And I know a lot of people get mad about that because they think they're going to get the gun, shortly after SHOT Show, or some people think it's already in production. What we try to do is bring that stuff to the table so that the customers, consumers, everybody can come in and look at it, touch it, feel it, give us their feedback on it before we actually go into full production on those guns. And we do introduce working prototypes, but there's a process, and like I'm saying, on their behalf, there's a process you go through to try to work out all the bugs before you release that gun onto the market.
Well,
and,
we saw.
Yeah, but
Yes.
look at Chad. Look at how excited I am in January of 2014.
I love it.
The guns
that was a tiny one. I was all excited. I'm a little guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the MDRs look great, man. I think it's going to be worth the wait, for people.
Exactly.
It will be worth the wait. We saw Remington. We saw them push out that R51 before it was really truly ready, and now look what's happened. I mean, it's been just utter catastrophe for them. So, in my opinion, bring the prototypes, let people see it, let people check it out, make your changes after that, and put a product in the market that actually works and that people aren't just going to be screwed over and waste their money with.
Exactly. I appreciate that, because I mean that's one of the issues we combat quite a bit is production, and the other thing too is when you release something like a KSG, or in our case a PMR30 as well, we have no idea what the public's going to think of it, and so you put it out there at SHOT Show, it goes absolutely crazy, and then the next thing you know, you're 3 years back ordered. So give us and give these companies coming out with some innovative stuff, give them a little bit of a break, because to go from an idea in someone's head to actually a working firearm in your hands, it's a huge process, especially when you're trying to put out 500 to 1,000 of these guns per week. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and I think also some companies bring out these prototypes to find out if it's even worth it to make the incredibly huge investment that it takes to actually build brand new guns. That's why you don't see a lot of companies innovating or trying to do anything different, because it's just really expensive.
Yeah, and when I walked around SHOT Show over the last couple of years, I saw tons and tons of ARs. Again, I love ARs, but there's nothing really new under the sun except for accessories. I mean, the AR platform it's going to be the same forever. So, I mean, there's some cool stuff, some cool accessories that come out. And that stuff is so easy and so quick to turn around because that platform has been going and going and going for so long. It's not something that's coming out of someone's head and going straight to the market. So
right.
So I'm going to speak from a non-manufacturer, non-representative side, but from the end user side. From the end user side, guys like us appreciate manufacturers that come out with like the beta weapons or innovations and say, hey, what do you guys think about it? Guys like us look at it and say, hey, you know what that could do for us? Having a system like that can allow me to carry more rounds in an operation. So if you guys go back and you look at most of the SWAT teams, a lot of those guys are carrying very short shotguns, standard shotguns, with only 2 or 3 rounds in it for the breachers. Every breacher that I've shown this KSG to, they've said, my God, man, I can go on the left magazine tube, I can run this round and then flip the select lever over and go to direct action on the inside. Well, whenever we see these new types of concept weapons, what that does for us, it automatically has us start pushing the manufacturers and saying, hey guys, love the innovation. Have you considered this? Because as an operator, we appreciate that there's somebody thinking about making, from one aspect, they're making their weapons, improving technology, improving innovation. But from the aspect that maybe they don't see is that I'm the operator. It makes me a much more effective and efficient operator, and it causes me to now instead of me carrying a shotgun for this and a carbine for that, I carry one shotgun, 2 different ammunition platforms. So I appreciate stuff like that personally. I know all the guys I talk to do.
Yeah, and it's very similar to what happens in the AR market. Like if you look at guys that are going out and teaching operator courses or military law enforcement stuff, to the 3-gun guys, they need things on their guns to help them effectively do their job, the best they can. So as far as the AR market goes, the platform's already there, and then there's a ton of accessories and cool rail systems, all kind of stuff that you can put on an AR. But a bullpup platform is obviously a completely different beast. And so we're constantly trying to to take that to a place where a black rifle guy can be comfortable shooting a bullpup design. So hopefully that at this convention, that's where we're going to be able to sort of prove our point there.
Very
Absolutely.
cool.
I think that a lot of the AR accessories transfer over to the bullpup as well. You know, a rail is a rail. If you get your cheek weld and your height with your optics correct, you know, at that point the most of, if not a lot of the AR accessories transfer.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. Okay, so Sergeant P, we've got some questions coming in for you. Folks want to know what else is going on at the Bullpup convention. Can you just elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, let's see. So exciting stuff. We'll have the one of the first, if not the first, fully automatic Tavor will be there doing some mag dumps, so that'll be kind of fun. We've got a heavy hitter, a brand new rifle. It's out of the prototype stage and starting some limited production in a 50 BMG semi-automatic. It's the Leader 50 from a bullpup designer from way back, Charles St. George. So that's making its public debut as well. I mentioned the Bullpup Unlimited kit for the Mossberg 500. That's been highly anticipated, and it's hitting the streets probably next week. But as the convention starts, it's available to the public, and it'll be heavy at the convention. Something new we're doing this year on Saturday, we've got some tech classes. KSG, Kel-Tec is going to go over the KSG, some of the breakdowns and tricks of it. IWI is going to go through the Tavor and how to break it down and some tips and tricks on it, putting the conversion kit in, doing some things like that. So that's kind of a neat new class, for lack of a better term, that we're putting on during the event. Of course, we've got the live shoot going, so most of, if not all, the manufacturers will have their different firearm platforms available, bullpup platforms to shoot on the line, so the public gets to have and to hold, so to speak, while they're there.
Yeah, and we'll also have the USC saw rig out there with Max doing some demos, which should be pretty fun. So that'd be neat.
Yeah,
Very
did
cool.
you? There's also going to be this guy called Hank Strange walking around.
Who?
Not familiar.
Taking pictures, kissing
With a funky
babies.
haircut.
Never heard of her.
Well, let me finish the weekend off talking about Sunday. We transitioned from the public show, the manufacturer showcase on Saturday, and then on Sunday we run through a quick competition, again highlighting those 4 bullpup platforms: the carbine, the shotgun, the rimfire, and the long distance going out to 1,000 yards, and do a kind of a friendly competition.
Coming after you, Garcia.
Okay, bring it on, man. Come on, I love it.
So is there going to be a prize for that competition?
There is. We've got prizes for each stage, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's over the past couple of years, we've had some incredible times on some of the time stages, and then the long shots are always kind of fun. So it's one of those things that if you enjoy the competition, don't let your lack of a bullpup slow you down. You have to shoot a bullpup, but I've got plenty of them you can borrow at each stage and run with one of my firearms.
I think last year you guys gave away a Tavor, right?
We did. Well, the grand prize was a Tavor last year.
Wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
My money is on Lola Strange.
Yeah, there you go. Mine too.
Yeah.
I've heard of her.
Nice, Sean. So now, yeah, so Sergeant P, do you guys, I think you've got some kind of competition or contest, a giveaway going on Facebook, right? Did you want to?
Yeah, in fact, we're going to announce that tonight, and we'll have that up. If they don't have it up right now, it'll be up by the morning. But we're going to take all the folks that have liked the page up until the Bullpup convention, so up through next Friday. And then we'll choose one name and send out one of the UTG ABC bags, the Alpha Battle Carrier bags. It's a super bag. It's real discreet, 34-inch long. They come in a couple of different colors the winner will be able to choose from. But just a great, discreet sling bag. It's got a big padded sling on one side.
Okay, that's cool. Maybe we'll get Kel-Tec to throw some swag in there. Hint.
We'll be bringing more than swag. We'll be bringing some
for the giveaway on Facebook for the Bullpup convention page.
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that.
Yeah, I'll throw some Hank Strange swag in there to go along with it. Okay, we've got some questions from YouTube. Homeland Guns wants to know, is Kel-Tec ever going to make a 22 Bullpup, Chad?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of, but we are coming out with the CMR 30 here at the end of October, which is a 22 Magnum carbine version of the PMR 30.
Nice.
So that's got a
Go ahead.
It's got like a 5-way adjustable stock on it. So.
Oh, okay.
We need.
All right, cool. And then also, I've got some folks asking if Kel-Tec's coming out with any new pistols. Anything to say?
No, right now we're focused on the CMR 30 and the RDB right now, and also continuing to crank out the KSGs because demand on that gun's crazy. So we don't have anything new. I don't think we're going to be showing at SHOT Show, as far as I know. But yeah, we're focusing right now on getting production out and then getting these 2 new guns coming out.
Okay, and Matthew May, that's watching, wants to know, is bump fire possible on a Bullpup? I've got no clue on that one.
That's funny. I was going to ask that too.
Sergeant P, that'd be a question for you, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little different because of the balance. So it can be tougher, especially if you're doing like your belt loop thing, you know, the side belt loop trick with your thumb.
Yeah. Who asked that question?
That's Matthew May.
Matthew, why do you want to bump fire?
I don't know what the answer is going to be to that, but probably why not?
Because America.
And that would be a great answer.
Yeah. The bump fire obviously is an inertia thing, so you can make it happen in the right scenario, but the balance of a bullpup is different than an AR and other things that bump fire fairly easily. So it is a little bit different.
Oh, okay. Now I've got another question for Kel-Tec real quick before Mr. Obeast44 wants to know, is Kel-Tec willing to let me purchase the chance to build my own RDB?
Build your own RDB? Probably not, unfortunately.
Well, Chad, talk about the M43 though. Can't you customize between the two? Maybe even have 2 guns in one with the wood furniture.
You can. As far as building your own gun, I assume he's asking that because he wants one now, and I don't blame him. I'd build my own too if I could.
Yeah, I get a lot of questions like that, Chad, from about Kel-Tec, where guys want to know, can I just build my own Kel-Tec thing? Can you just send me the parts or something like that?
You know, we get a lot of people call in, and we catch these guys too, and they'll start ordering parts for one particular gun, and they'll call in every couple of weeks and order 3 or 4 parts. And then they finally get to the point where they need the frame of the gun, which obviously we can't just send to anybody. That's a stamped, serialized part. So they spend all this money, and if there any of you guys out there listening, don't do that. You're wasting your money. You can't buy a frame. You're eventually going to have to go buy a whole firearm anyway. So that happens a lot. But as far as building your own, yeah, we don't have any sort of like program where you can come in and do something like that.
Well, Chad, talk about the improvements y'all have done. You've just expanded your operations. I know the KSG, for instance, for the longest time there's a huge backlog, if that's the complaint, that y'all have kind of addressed. What are you cranking out thousands of those now, and we've seen the price come down because they're available now.
Yeah, we've been cranking them out like crazy, and it's been really tough to do because again, like I said at the outset, when you come up with something like this, you really don't know how it's going to hit the market. You know, people are going to love it, they're going to hate it. So it's not that we're necessarily, caught with our pants down, so to speak, but it's been a process of trying to grow, but we don't want to outgrow production. So the production or the demand exploded, and now we're just trying to, kind of take steps towards getting that. So we're getting to that production level that we need. So we bought a bunch of new machines, and if you go and watch Hank's tour video of Kel-Tec, you'll see a lot of that stuff floating around here, and we introduce you to some people and talk about what it is that they do. So you get a little bit of an inside look at the company. But it's expanding like crazy. I'm sitting right now in a brand new building that we purchased last year. We've hired a bunch of people. So Yeah, we're working on that, and at the same time we're taking steps to keep from having to struggle to make production on guns that we're gonna be putting out, like the CMR 30 and the RDB. So we don't want to get stuck in that again, to where we're scrambling, to try to keep the public happy. So.
Yeah, that's a good. Something that people may not realize about Kel-Tec, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, Chad. The
You're
company is owned by. Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Okay.
The company is owned by George Kelgren, right? He's
Yes.
the designer. He's the owner of the company, and you guys don't take out loans like a lot of big companies out there, right?
Yeah, we're not publicly owned, and we don't owe anybody any money. So this is literally, as a family at Kel-Tec, one step at a time. To try to get production out there and to come up with innovative designs and stuff for guys like Senior and anybody that wants to go out and have a bullpup and shoot and have a good time. So it's,
Yeah.
It's a process, coming up with the idea, then putting the design into an actual working firearm, and then taking that and then actually putting it into production so that you get a good quality, innovative firearm, and it takes a long time, and we're a very new company, and we're working on it. We're doing the best we can on our end to try to get that production out for you guys.
Yeah.
And
I think.
here's a side note: we have to sell 10,000 units before I can have one. So nobody is pushing harder to get production going than guys like me that work here that really want our stuff. So.
Yeah. I think there's folks out there that want to know why you guys didn't come out with the CMR, which is the 22 Magnum rifle version of the pistol that's out there. And one of the things I think is because we had all that stuff going on last year, and if you put out that gun and then you couldn't sell it, you'd have to lay off a bunch of good guys that work down at Kel-Tec, right?
Yeah, and sell some machines that we could have otherwise used for other products and stuff. So yeah, it was a really sticky situation, and I don't know if a lot of people understand what was going on in the industry at the time. But there was a ban, a major ban going on. They wanted to try to ban all these firearms, and almost all of ours were listed by name. So we had to we had to put the CMR 30 on the back burner to really focus on the KSGs, the PMR 30s, and other guns that people are really trying to get. So now that that's over with, and we're moving forward, we're introducing a new rifle. So we're trying to balance those two out right now, get them both out.
Okay, so when is the CMR coming out?
The CMR, the first shipment's going to be at the end of October, and again after SHOT Show, be in full production on that, cranking them out, and the RDB as well. So actually, the RDB will come out. We'll do our first shipment in December, just before we leave for break, and then once we get back from SHOT Show, we'll be cranking those out.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Anyone else got any questions out there on the panel?
Not I.
Sean? Do we still have Sean? Where'd he go? Looks like he's frozen. What about you, Tac Daddy?
Let's talk about the dates one more time. Give us the dates of the Bullpup convention and where it's at.
Good call. Yeah, so we're doing it for the third year in a row at Rock Castle Shooting Center. That's in Park City, Kentucky. It's centrally located on the kind of the eastern side of the country, and between Nashville and Louisville, kind of halfway between those two. It's the 27th and 28th of September, the end of this month. So a week from this weekend. Saturday will be the public event, the showcase and live shoot. Come and enjoy the products, test them, see what you like. And then that's on Saturday, and then on Sunday we'll have the competition.
Be there.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you mentioned it already. There's you can actually stay at Rock Castle. Did you mention that?
No, I didn't. It's a Rock Castle is a great property. It's got a tremendous amount of potential within the shooting industry. 2,000 acres. It's got a 100-room lodge right on site. It's got multiple ranges. We're going to be at one of the longer fields ranges. It gives us a 1,000-yard shot on both Saturday for the public and Sunday for the competition. And then there's a golf course. There's a winery. There's all kinds of stuff right there on site. So it's pretty neat. Bowling Green, Kentucky, is right down the road. That's right on the border of Tennessee and Kentucky. The Corvette is made there, and so there's the Corvette Museum. There's other things for the family to do in the area.
There's a lot of great food in that area. There was some great Mexican restaurant. We went up 1 mile from the lodge, and there was a phenomenal Mexican place we'll have to hit up. Good food.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah, and people don't know this. You can open carry in Kentucky, right?
I don't know the answer to that as far as the state as a whole. Once you're on the property, obviously you can. Holstered is welcomed.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of people asked last year whether they can bring their kids. I took my kids last year. I'm not bringing them this year because they've got some sporting events going on, and they're in the band, so they've got to, play in the band, so they won't be there. But you can bring your kids, and people will get a chance to shoot the different bullpups, right?
Yeah, kids are welcomed within reason. We do have releases that have to be signed, and they have to be with a guardian and parent preferred. The competition itself, we're looking for. We've got some tests for anybody that's below 18, but again, the parent or guardian is greatly involved at that point. So yes, we're very family friendly. Women, men. Again, I really want to entice the bullpup haters to come out and test these things out, and then after you shoot them, tell me you still hate them.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the RDB. Hey, one clarification I want to make though about the range. It is a cold range. You can holster and walk around, open carry, but no mag and no ammo in the gun.
Oh, okay. When you're on the range.
At the range, yes. I apologize. I misunderstood the question. I thought it was about like the lodge and Kentucky in general.
Yeah. Okay.
I just don't want people showing up with their guns hot and ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, no, good point. We will, and just the layout is pretty unique. We're able to funnel people in, so we do have releases that folks sign as well as name tags. Believe it or not, my dad loves these events, but he swears he wants everybody to put their forum handle on their name tag, so that because he doesn't know, us by our normal names. It's all right. Sergeant P and Hank Strange and those fun names.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right, boys. This is going to be a good time.
Yeah, I'm getting some.
Looking forward to it.
How's it going to, just quickly to go over it again for people, so can people bring their guns down there, their bullpups, or only during the competition, or how does that work?
No, you're welcome to bring your own firearms. We, again, as Chad mentioned, they do need to be safe when they're off the line. We have a funnel in which you enter the hotline, and at that point we'll check the firearm for that it's reliable, and then also your ammunition. We don't want steel core. We'll be shooting at steel targets, so no steel core ammunition, and so we'll have some magnets there checking ammunition. Again, though, you can come without firearms, and we've got plenty of bullpups to test out and have fun with.
Okay. Is there going to be a fee for anyone that wants to shoot?
That's up to the manufacturer. Most of them in the past have not charged anything to shoot. However, some of them, it depends on what's available and that type of thing. And I'm thinking specifically right now of like 22 long rifle. There's just not a lot out there. So I don't know what, say, Red Jacket would do with the ZK-22 if they're going to charge or not. But that's their prerogative. Generally, if there was a charge, it was very affordable, especially if you want to do a mag dump or something and just test something out. But for the most part, the manufacturers let you test their bullpup and fire away.
I think Hank and Max are both going to be charging for autographs, but it's not that expensive, though, is it?
I forge Hanks very well.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Yeah. I see some Kentucky guys saying that you can open carry in Kentucky in general, so
yeah.
Cool.
That's just FYI for anybody who wants to do that. Okay, so anyone else got anything else to add here? We've been going now for about an hour, 15 minutes.
Yep. Looking forward to seeing everybody at the in about a week and a half or so, and gonna be a great time, man.
Yeah. Same here. Sean, I know Sean's going to be at some kind of mystery event on this weekend, so I don't think he's going to be able to make it.
Yeah.
I have to see if my helicopter pilot's available or not.
I'll be in Illinois at another event.
That's a zombie event, isn't it, Sean?
There's a whole lot of things going on at that event, yeah.
Oh.
So Sean and Aaron, I think, from We Like Shooting, and We Like Shooting are really, really good friends to the Hank Strange situation. They made plans to go to Illinois, come to Kentucky. That's where the real fun's going to be, and the better looking Hank Strange is over there.
That's just all false. See, here's what happened. SHOT Show in 2014, I told Hank I was staying at one hotel, and then when he booked that hotel, I stayed somewhere else. So
Exactly.
when we were talking about bullpup shoots, he told me he was going to one, so I booked there, and then he booked the other one. So we're even now. It's all good.
Well, Sean, I sent some guns up to that one, so we just keep an eye on them for me.
I absolutely will. I'll make sure they come home in my trunk.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
No problem, man. I got your back.
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's in the Illinois areas, there's still going to be stuff up at whatever that mystery thing that Sean, I guess he's not, You can say it if you want to, Sean. I don't mind.
No,
it's
let's
fine.
not.
It's fine, man.
Yeah.
Okay. I talk about that enough on our show and our social media and all that good stuff. I don't need to infringe upon yours.
Okay, but when I come on your show, I'm going to talk about it.
Well, I have 3 secret questions for Sergeant P for Thursday night that are so freaking good I can't even contain myself. But Thursday.
Is that a tease? Is that what's called a tease?
Thursday night, everybody on the panel here is more than welcome, and we talk about gun stuff, not just bullpup stuff, but we'll definitely get into the bullpup stuff in the middle of the show again.
I don't know anything about other guns.
Are there more on Thursday night? Is there going to be more public questions and interface and stuff like that?
Yeah, we're on gun channels and a couple other places where there's
cool.
Quite a few people that jump in and talk.
What are you trying to say? Have enough questions, Chad?
No, you had great questions tonight. You had a great live audience, dude. That was awesome.
Awesome.
I'll try to jump in on that. No, I really like talking to I like talking to you guys, but I like talking to people that have questions about what it is that we do. So
I am the people's champion. So
nice.
Yeah, come along on Thursday and jump on, Chad. I'll be there.
Okay.
Honestly, I watched Hank Strange's Kel-Tec video where he did the tour and humanized everyone. It answered every question I could possibly ever have.
You'll find some more, I'm sure.
There's always more questions with Kel-Tec.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what happens when you innovate.
Next time we're gonna invite Yankee Marshall. I don't know what happened to him. I put it out there. I didn't hear back from him.
Is he still alive?
I don't know.
yes.
He might have gotten kidnapped by aliens. So, all right, guys, listen. I want to thank everyone who's out there on YouTube and Google Plus that joined in on the chat. I want to thank you guys for showing up. That was really cool. I had a lot of fun. Lots of good, informative stuff. Love seeing Max. Is Max awake yet?
Nope, he's out, man. He's out.
Sick him, Max. Sick him.
You work hard today?
Don't shame him.
I mean, he's up 2:30 in the morning going to work.
Did you say Donka Shane?
Yeah, he did.
Oops.
Yeah.
All right, let's if no one else has anything to add, we're gonna go off air. This was awesome. I had a lot of fun.
Thanks, Hank.
guys.
Bye.
Take care, guys.
See you guys.
See you guys later. Take care.